Let's talk about this whole fundamental fundamental idea of investing in the U.S. Ava and Ava was a real estate agent for 10 years. I was a developer here in Vancouver. And after 15 years, and we both came to a moment that we're like, okay, there are opportunities that exist in the US, especially when there are syndicated investments, when you can pool a bunch of capital and buy these assets and create the tax benefits that exist for the investors. It was a no-brainer for us. We became believers of it. Talk to us a bit more about opportunities in the US compared to Canada on the multifamily and the single family, so our viewers can have a better understanding of why are we so excited about the US? What is it so special about the US?
What are these crazy Canadians so focused on the US real estate for?
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing too. And like, if you're going to cross the border and do this, you want to pick the states that are going to be the most beneficial. And where I'm going with this is I like landlord-friendly states. Some people are comfortable. They've been working in some of these provinces that are more tenant-friendly, some of the Ontarios or the BCs that are a little bit more, the judgments go that long, that the evictions take a little bit longer. But I figured if I'm going to go to the States, I want to pick something that's going to be less hassle. So I'm going to stay out of Chicago. I'm going to stay out of New York proper. Like, won't go into too much of a tangent, but New York State, you got to know what you're doing, because every single municipality has different laws, whereas most states is state laws, whereas New York is county laws for their landlord and tenant proceedings. So you got to know what you're doing there. So yeah, there's lots of landlord-friendly states that you can do evictions in a month or 2 weeks. Everything's a little different with COVID right now, but before COVID, yeah, you could do this very quickly in a lot of states. Texas is really quick. Indiana, Missouri, Florida, Michigan, and there's lots. I went into Alabama and Ohio. You can do them in a month. They're still pretty quick in my standards. But landlord laws, the prices are phenomenally different. I was looking at like 30-unit buildings, and you can pick them up for like 700 grand. Yes, you can. And and yeah, and they're out there, right? You just gotta, a lot of these stuff, even still, a lot of these top deals they could be on the MLS, but a lot of them aren't, because the more eyes that see a deal, the more it's going to get pushed up in price. If it's actually something, a lot of times they'll bid it up to back to market or close to it anyway. At least that's what I've found. I know people do amazing things buying off the MLS. 30-year loans. Americans have 30-year loans, and people go, why is that important? Well, you're at the mercy of the mortgage rates, right? So if you buy in Canada, or even you can still get 5-year loans or 7-year loans in the States, but if you're buying these loans, if the bottom falls out in either country, because I'm not saying either one is not kind of high right now, but if either of them were to fall out, you can ride it right through if you have your financing. People need a place to live. And if you have a Capital X fund, which is like spare money for roofs and other things, you can ride right through the worst of the storm, right? I wasn't concerned whenever COVID came, because I'm like, people need a place to live. I'm like, governments will come up with funding options. If you're in landlord-friendly states, you're just going to get paid. It's just going to be later, right? So as long as you have the money to make it through that, you're going to be good. So landlord laws, prices, long-term loans. Oh, what am I missing? I usually have a list of 5. Anyway, there's lots of advantages.
The list goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on. I know there's 5. I usually have 5 if I've had my slides up whenever I do my presentations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.